Fighting First releases continued this month with the Command and Mission card sets, as well as the M4 Tank Platoon, M3 Stuart Light Tank Platoon, P-40 Warhawk Fighter Flight, and other US Mid-War Forces releases. Still to come are the M7 Priest and 105mm Field Artillery batteries, the T-30 75mm Assault Gun, and the M1917 Machine Gun Platoon. The Africa Corps, Desert Rats, and Fighting First unit card packs are also upcoming releases. Battlefront posted up some first glimpses of some of the gun crew and machine gun figures for US forces. These will be in their new flexible plastic. The first sprue here seems to be artillery gun crews, probably for the 105mm Field Artillery battery, and maybe the Priest. The second sprue here has some battery commander figures with a map, as well as loaders with artillery shells. The other sprue in the post seems to be machine gunners, probably for the M1917 machine gun platoon blister. Each sprue has a loader, gunner and commander figure, as well as the M1917 gun. Battlefront will be hopeful these new figures prove popular. Their flexible plastic range has not been well received by players so far, with concerns both about the new material and the quality of the sculpts. As we covered last month, Late War is getting some attention from 4th edition. Battlefront announced the Armies of the Late War Rulebook, a 137-page hardcover book covering US, British, German and Russian late war forces. The book will cover 20 late war lists. Germans get Tiger, Panther and Panzer IV tank companies, a Stug assault gun battery, as well as Panzer Grenadier and Grenadier companies. US get an M4 Sherman company, a tank destroyer company, an armoured rifle company, and a rifle company list. British get Sherman, Cromwell and Comet armoured squadrons, a Churchill tank squadron, a motor company and a rifle company list. Soviets get a T-34 tank battalion, a Churchill tank regiment, an IS-2 tank regiment and a rifle battalion. The points for these lists are all comparable to existing version 3 Forces books, but the stats and the lists have all been updated for 4th edition rules. The lists in the books will be supported by 4 nation-specific card packs. The Soviet pack has 58 cards, the US pack has 59 cards, the Germans have 68 and the British top the list with 72 cards. The new Late War book and the card packs are available for pre-order on the Battlefront website. To go along with the new book, there are also 4 new Late War box sets. These are quite large box sets and would be a strong starter set for a new player rather than existing players. The German Kampfgruppe box has 5 Panthers, 5 Panzer IVs, 2 Tigers, 2 Puma armoured cars, and 2 8.8cm flak guns, all in plastic. There's also a mini Flames of War rulebook, a German Start Here guide, and 8 4th edition unit cards. The British Armoured Battle Group box has 5 Cromwells, 2 Fireflies, 2 M10C self-propelled anti-tank guns, and 4 25-pounder guns, along with an observer rifle team and a universal carrier to transport them. This box also has the mini rulebook, Start Here guide and 10 unit cards. The US Combat Command box has 8 M4A3 Shermans, 3 Pershings and 3 M7 Priest self-propelled howitzers, along with a mini rulebook, guide and 9 unit cards. The Soviet Tank Shock Group box set has 7 T-34s, 2 IS-2s, 2 ISU-122 or ISU-152 assault guns, 4 plastic ZIS-2 or 3 guns, 11 unit cards, and the mini rulebook and guide. Moving on to December and January releases, it's all about Stripes. Battlefront posted up the release schedule for Stripes on the Team Yankee website this month. The main Stripes rulebook releases in early December, along with Ryan's Leathernecks and the Marine dice set. This will be accompanied by the delayed Soviet infantry and heavy weapons sets from Red Thunder. Ryan's Leathernecks is the starter set for a US Marine tank company, and includes 3 plastic M60 tanks, 6 Humvees, a decal sheet, and 6 unit cards, as well as a softcover Team Yankee rulebook. This seems a bit light on for tanks for a tank company, but we'll have to wait and see the force diagram for the Marines. The plastic Humvees look nice. In mid-December, the plastic UH-1 Huey helicopter platoon and the IP M1 Abrams tank platoon boxes launch. The Huey box has 2 plastic helicopters, 2 flight stands, 8 magnets, a decal sheet and 2 unit cards. The plastic box give options for either a US Army Huey or a Marine version. The M1 Abrams box has the same plastic as the earlier M1 box set, but has 5 unit cards for the IPM1, which fielded the same M60 105mm gun, but had increased armour protection. More controversial mid-December resin and metal releases are the air defence options. The MIM-72 Chaparral SAM platoon will be a welcome long-range missile AA option for the US. However, the announcement of the M247 Sgt York AA platoon has caused some comment. This adds a nice gun option to US forces in Team Yankee, but only 50 units of this vehicle were ever built before the project was cancelled. Including this paper Panzer in the Stripes release has caused comment, but it will be an interesting what-if option if anyone chooses to take it. Early January will see the M60 Patton tank platoon in plastic, along with a resin AV-8 Harrier and the US rifle platoon. The M60 box set has 5 M60 tanks, a tank commander sprue, decal sheet and 8 unit cards. The M60 can build the M60A1 or the upgraded M60A3 version. I assume the unit cards cover the different variants in US Army and Marine service. The US rifle team can build either a Huey rifle platoon or a Marine rifle platoon. This heli-borne infantry option will be a nice tactical increase for US troops in the game. The set builds an M16 rifle team, 9 M249 SAW teams with LAW anti-tank rockets, 2 M47 Dragon missile teams, 2 M60 GPMG teams, 2 SMOR anti-tank teams and a 60mm mortar team. There are 7 unit cards in the set. Later in the month comes the Humvee platoon and LAV platoon box sets in plastic, along with the M551 Sheridan tank platoon and the AAVP7 platoon. The LAV box has 5 LAV vehicles with 2 AT upgrades with the Tau Hammerhead launcher. There's 1 tank commander sprue, 1 mortar crew sprue, a decal sheet and 6 unit cards. This makes this a pretty versatile kit with lots of options. I know US players have been looking for the Sheridan light tank as a recon option, and the AAVP-7 armoured personnel carrier gives the Marines some specific amphibious infantry transport. The AAVP-7 box will have 2 resin AAVP-7s. These are not just infantry transport, with a turret mounting machine guns and even a 40mm grenade launcher. So there's a lot coming in Stripes. I'm really looking to get my hands on the M60s and the LAV-25s. We got a peek at the long-delayed Soviet infantry from Red Thunder this month. According to the schedule, these will be available in early December. Here's a shot of BM200, one of the infantry sprues. These are in the new flexible plastic material. There are a number of infantry sprues with rifleman figures in different poses. Some are armed with AK-74s, but others, like the lower figure on this sprue, have RPKs, long-barreled light support versions of the AK rifle. Other support sprues have PKM light machine guns in kneeling and prone positions, as well as the SA-14 Gremlin surface-to-air missile men and more RPG-7 gunners. Heavy weapon sprues include the AGS-17 automatic grenade launcher and the AT-4 Spigot anti-tank missile. The AT-4 is a semi-automatic anti-tank missile based on the Milan ATGM. Some people are still not convinced by the new material or the current family of sculpts for battlefront infantry. The company was quick to follow up the sprue shots with some painted examples of the new Soviet infantry. This sample shows some riflemen from the new figure range painted up. There are plenty more images like this one showing painted examples of the new Russian troops. The URL is on screen now if you want to have a better look for yourself. The Plastic Soldier Company continues to expand their Cold War miniature range as well. We've already covered the announcement of PSC's Cold War Soviet infantry, but the company announced this month that pre-orders had reached the required target, and the figures were off to be tooled. The box has 125 figures, enough for 3 platoons plus a HQ. This includes riflemen armed with AK-74s, RPKs and PKM machine guns. Support weapons include AT-3 Saga, AT-4 Spigot and AGS-17 grenade launchers, as well as SA-7 and SA-14 AA missiles. The PSC website says these are due for release in mid-December. November should see the release of the 15mm Leopard 1 kit we've mentioned several times, but this month PSC announced they'll be releasing an M60 Patton tank in plastic. Details are a bit scarce at the moment, but it's planned the kit will build an M60A1 or an M60A3. With Battlefront releasing an M60 with stripes, this means we'll have a choice of 2 M60s in plastic. PSC hopes this kit will be released in January. Switching the focus back to World War II, Battlegroup Market Garden is due for general release in early November. This is a softback 96-page campaign supplement for Battlegroup, covering the fighting and airborne operations in Holland in September 1944. As well as Allied and German forces lists, the supplement has historical narrative and scenarios and even a mini-campaign. The book is available for order on the PSC website, and there are bundle deals with Battlegroup Overlord Beyond the Beaches and the main rulebook. After a quiet patch in 1/100th scale, Zvezda have finally released the IS-3. The IS-3 came too late to see action in World War II, but this is an interesting what-if option, or very useful for other theatres like Arab-Israeli wars. This continues Zvezda's trend of covering unusual vehicle subjects. I have one on order, so I'll do a review when it arrives. So while October was a quiet month, there are lots of things due for November and December. I'm anticipating the release of stripes for Team Yankee, and really want to review kits like the plastic M60 and LAV-25. The Plastic Soldier Company's Leopard 1 is also high on my list. Zvezda's IS-3 may not be as mainstream, but looks like a fun option to build. However, the release of Soviet Cold War infantry by both Battlefront and the Plastic Soldier Company at roughly the same time will make for an interesting comparison. So what has interested you? What's high on your Christmas list for gaming releases this year? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy Rumours and Lies.